Fred and the Cowboy back with you on the Liberty Playbook. This is a website, if you're new to us, that's all about the Constitution, about the Founding Fathers, what they said, what we have to do to protect our freedoms, and the duties of a citizen, one of which is voting. And the other really is just staying current with the issues. John Adams said liberty cannot be preserved without general knowledge among the people. Does that mean just watching MSNBC or Fox News?
No, but that's what it's become. I think a lot of people have self-selected where they're going to get their news. They've self-selected what they believe. And many times you shut the door on the other fellow's argument. That doesn't mean that you're going to take the other person's argument, but you should try to balance both things. We all get into a situation where you say, well, I just don't even want to listen to that other fella. And that's unfortunate because, you know, the parties used to be a lot closer together, especially on things like national security. And that's one of the reasons we won the Cold War, because our enemies knew, hey, they might be arguing about taxes, but on national security, they're together, and we know that.
A lot of folks, including yours truly and Patrick, really believe that we should look at the Constitution and maybe amend things. That doesn't mean rewriting it. It means enhancing it. Maybe you want to balance the budget. Maybe you want term limits for judges, whatever particular issues are. But the first thing you can do is really get a better informed citizenry and vote for people who you think are going to think the right way and follow the Constitution. Here's an example, right? Second Amendment right to bear arms. Now we're hearing from some anti-gun people, well, a concealed carry weapon permit is not a privilege, it is not a right. Well, if you think about anything with almost any issue, things have changed a lot since 1781 or 1787, right?
Yeah, and you know, it says shall not be infringed. Mm-hmm. Now the other day, Hillary Clinton's being interviewed by George Stuffing Envelopes on ABC, and he leaves
George
her...
Stephanopoulos, who,
oh,
for those of you who work in the administration.
Yeah. But, you know, she's asking her, well, you know, for many years we haven't had well-regulated militias. Is the Second Amendment still in effect? Well, of course it is, dummy. The Second Amendment, and when I hear people say, well, you know, we don't want to take it away from hunters. The Second Amendment ain't about hunting. It's about the fact that you have to be able to stop tyranny dead in its tracks if it happens. And in the early days of this nation, you still had loyalists who were hanging around. You still had people who wanted to go back to Britain. You still had people that weren't really agreeing with the Constitution. It wasn't a unanimous decision. They didn't all just say, kumbaya, let's do this. So all this nonsense about the Second Amendment, what they meant, look, they said, you're going to have the right to bear arms, and by God, that's what it means.
Well, so many things in the Constitution are sort of being ignored by one side or the other. Freedom of speech, for one. I mean, political correctness has basically zip your lip on so many things. And you have the right to say something. And because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's wrong.
Well, and now you're shamed. Now we're under the communist system, you know, where, you know, pretty soon you're going to have kids who are going to be turning in their parents for using plastic bags and sent to the gulag somewhere in Alaska or something. Right. This is crazy stuff that's going on. You see these schools now indoctrinating these children. They're not educating anybody. You know, the word education in Latin, you know, it means educare, you know, which means to lead from.
Right.
They're not leading them anywhere. All they're doing is indoctrinating them and open their soft little brains and pouring this junk in.
Yeah, and you know, so many things have changed in our world, society things, that really, the Constitution says any of those things really have to go back to the states. But yet it's the federal government that's saying no transgender bathrooms, no federal funds, or, you know, no regulations on gasoline fumes, we're not going to give you highway money, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I think, you know, if we're going to have all these bathrooms everybody's going to share, let's take out the walls and the stalls, you know? Let's make it like a prison where everybody just has a row of seats, you know? This is getting, the federal government, here we are, $19 trillion, almost $21 trillion in debt, and the federal government and our president is worrying about who's going to go to the toilet where.
Right. It's marketing. No penis, no problem.
That's right.
Crane and the Cowboy, back with more after this.